Hello, in this project I'm going to show you how to paint with watercolors. And we're going to do lavender branches. So the colors that I'm going to use are basically the primary colors. So I have red, yellow, blue, and black. I'm also going to use a small brush. So I have a thin brush. Make sure if you'd like to sketch it, you can use a pencil and an eraser. Also have some water and a paper towel to wipe off the brush. I'm going to start straight with color, but if you don't feel comfortable starting with color, you're more than welcome to start sketching it first with pencil. Let's begin. I'm going to mix the colors because I do not have purple already made. If you have already purple made, you can use those. I am going to mix red and blue. And you also need a little bit of white. I have mixed a bit of blue, white, and purple. I'm sorry. I mixed a bit of red, blue, and white to make the purple color. And I'm going to start from the top here, from the beginning of the page. It depends how far you want to start. I'm starting right at the edge of the paper, this color. Now, when you do lavender, actually lavender is mostly like purple blue. We're going to do a few layers of this purple. I'm going to start with one layer first, and then slowly, we're going to change those into different layers. And then as I do this color, as you see, I'm creating a bit of texture as well. So the way that I'm doing them is I'm going left and right with tiny little dots. And then as soon as I create that texture, then I'll come back and add more colors to it. So as you see, I am leaving some white spaces, and the reason why it's because we're going to put another color in there, and we want to have those white spaces in between for the next color that we are going to use. So for now, I'm simply marking where my line-like branches are going to go. So the next color that I'm going to use is purple, but it's a bit more into a red shade, I would say. So if you see here, it's I have blue, I have dark purple, and then there's another purple that has more red to it. So that purple that I had before, I just added a little bit of red. Now we're going to go right in between here. And then we're going to add this red shade of lavender. That's why we left those empty spaces before. So this way, when we put the second color, the second layer, we have room for it. And at the same time, Also, when we look at the lavender, we also see that lavender has different shades to it. So it's not only one color. So what we are trying to do here is create the texture with different layers of colors. And the beautiful thing about watercolors is that they blend really well, really nicely together. So when you put another color, for example, if I put blue here, it will kind of blend with that red beautiful color that I have in there. I usually work in blocks of color. So once I finish with one block, then I go back and then add another layer with a different block of color. So right now I'm going to do all reds. So purple red. And then once we get that done, then we're going to add another layer. And this time what I'm doing is with blue color, going right in between this dark purple that we did before. And also at the same time, going on top of that purple. So in between and on top to add another layer. And in some of parts of the lilac, I am mixing this with the purple color that I had before. So watercolors are very playful colors. They're very fine, very thin. They blend really nicely together. And the way that I'm mixing them when I put this layer is I'm actually creating a bit of texture. So I'm not going straight. I'm trying to create leaves. And as I do these tiny little buds of flowers, creating the texture as well. Now we do have a lot of color here. What I'm going to do is with just water, because my brush has already some paint, so just simply dip the brush in water, and then let's create a few tiny little branches here. And this is with very pale blue, very light blue. So to create the lilac flowers, I'm going left and right. So I'm being a bit more precise or more details as I go with this light color. All right, and then we're going to add another branch right here. And then a second layer on top to create a bit of shading. And when you look at the branches, you'll see the difference between them. So you'll see the different shades that we put. So we see purple, we see blues, and we also see a bit of red in there. So red, purple. Another way to soften up the colors, what I do is I simply dip the brush in water and then just spread the color that you already have. Just clean water with your brush and then spread this color around. And it will create that nice hue between the colors. So just clean water and spread that color with your brush, and you'll see that the color kind of spreads around a little bit. Now you don't have to do this in all of the branches. You're going to do this only in some of them. In some parts, I'm not touching at all. I'm not spreading those colors. And just a little bit over here on the side. And then next we're going to start with the green leaves, so the green branches. So if you have green made, you can use the green that you already have made, or you can create the green yourself. So to make green, I mix yellow and blue. And let's make a few green branches here. And also you can put greens in between. Picture if you have like green leaves in there that are sticking out in between those branches. You can also do that. And when we do the stems, we're going to do a few of the stems shorter and some longer than the other ones. So this way they're not all the same. So I'm putting a bit of green in between. And I'm going to leave this a bit narrow here because this is where they're tied up. And as I add details with this green color, I'm also going to add a bit of yellow. So inside the green, a little bit of yellow to brighten up the stems. And if you want to extend this green, you can always put a little bit of green on the outside, simply to create a bit of shading if you'd like to do that, but I wouldn't do too much because I don't want to mess up or mess up the colors, I would say, together, because it's too much blending of the colors. I'll just keep this as simple as possible for the background. So just a little bit of green, not too much. And it's a very soft green. Do it a little bit in both sides. And I'm doing it mostly at the bottom rather than at the top. So I'm leaving the top of the page nice and clean. The next color I'm going to use, it's going to be brown. And this is very light brown. It's like we are tying this up here. So you can make a knot or a tie. I'm going to let this fly here. I'm going to make the tie a little bit thicker. And then with black, so very fine lines with black, simply to define a little bit of shape here. Because what black does, it just adds a bit more color to it. And it kind of closes up the work a bit better, I would say. But make sure it's very light black, it's not too dark. We don't want to overpower this with dark colors, because it's a very delicate bunch of flowers. It's very soft. And with black, I'm just going in between, doing very fine lines. A bit of texture, not too much. And that's about it. I wouldn't touch this too much, because the beauty of this bouquet is to be simple, pleasant, and very light in colors. So I think it looks good the way it is, guys, but if you want to add more details or more colors to it, feel free to do so. Thank you very much for being here and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.